Real athletes, real stories. We are back with another one, another big one at that. We got the one and only Miss Abby Steiner joining us. Oh, y'all in here, D. Y'all in here, D. Y'all in here, D. Okay, let me go ahead and add her. I hope y'all had a good day. Ooh. Hey,
Hello.
how you doing over there?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I got a little allergies going on, but I'm good, you
I
know?
saw you said you might have some sniffles because of that 5K you did.
How was your day? Did you practice today?
Yeah, I did. I had practice earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
So,
Was
yeah.
it smooth?
Yeah, it was a hard day, but we got through it. So, it wasn't that bad.
Okay, bad. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This section is called The Real You. Some fun, cool questions, okay?
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, so something you're looking forward to in the next few years, not track related.
Ooh, not track. I feel like my whole life is track and field. I'm looking forward to, I recently became a dog mom, so I'm looking forward to seeing how my puppy gets comfortable with me and grows with me because I love her. So,
Yes, congratulations. Okay, so how do you spend majority of your free? I know you have a little bit, but how do you spend your free time that you do have?
if I have free time, I usually am reading or like doing crossword puzzles or puzzles, like something to take my mind off of social media, track, and just kind of get out of my head.
Okay, are you pretty fast with the crossword puzzles or not for real?
You know, I've actually gotten way better. I started doing them this summer. Like me and one of my teammates, Perry Bockrath, we were at NCAA's and there was like a lot of hype around that meet. And so I was like, we bought the same crossword book and then we would just sit like every morning and do them together. So
Oh.
like we started doing that. I feel like I've kind of gotten into it. I do like the New York Times mini one.
Oh.
I try to get, well, not every morning, but most days. So I try to get fast at that one.
Okay, and do you have any hidden talents?
Uh, I said at the Bowerman was going to be just sprinting across the stage. I feel like I'm pretty good at painting. I guess that could be a hidden talent.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get into a little meet fun question. So how long does it take you to get ready for a track meet?
It depends if I'm doing my hair or just throwing it in a bun. I would say I usually give myself like an hour.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's
yeah.
not
I
bad.
got my routine like down, and especially like when it's hot, and I don't like to do too much because it's
Hmm.
off. So, yeah.
Okay, so somebody you like competing against.
Ooh, someone I like competing against.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I gotta say Favor Feely. I think that she's the one that pushed me the most this year. And she's just such a sweetheart. So I had a great time the whole season with her.
Yes. Oh, okay. So indoor or outdoor, if you had to choose.
Mm, I'm gonna go outdoor, but I do love me some indoor. I do, I do love indoor, but I gotta go with outdoor.
Okay, and outdoor favorite facility.
Oh, um, I feel like the favorites are always the places you run the best at, so I have to say Eugene. But I also, my freshman year, we went to University of Texas at Austin, and that was a
Okay.
phenomenal track. I really like that environment. I was a freshman, and I did not make finals there, but I still had a great time regardless. So,
That's what's
yeah,
up. That's what's up. Okay, so do you still own a soccer ball?
no, I don't. My parents might have one, but I don't think I have one anymore.
Oh my God, it's okay. It'd be like that.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I feel it. Okay, so I heard you're a little superstitious from your other interview. So will you be keeping those American record spikes?
I do still have them,
Okay.
but I got to get some new record holding spikes now because those are Nike, so I
Yeah.
can't be out.
Are you gonna like frame them and
I want.
like cherish them? Okay.
I kept like all my Kentucky stuff and like the spikes that I set some records in. So I'm trying to figure out like a good way because honestly, like shoes are kind of hard to like frame, and also track space get a little nasty at the end of the season. Like they are. So I'm trying to figure out like a good way to do it. I'll probably like put them in a clear box and frame them, and like write my times and stuff down or something. But
yeah, I love that. I love that. So does anybody call you Abigail?
No, and that's actually not my name. Like legally, my name is just Abby.
What?
Yeah. So sometimes maybe it's like a joke, but yeah, like my birth certificate is just Abby. What? So yeah.
So did you get it changed, or was it always Abby?
Always just Abby.
Wow. So who made that up?
My mom. She's probably watching right now. Mom, you can comment and ask and say why you did that. But yeah, it's always Abby.
I love that. And like, so I want to ask, you have like a Southern accent, low key. So like, but you don't. You're not from the South.
Do you have a Southern accent?
A little bit.
Being in Kentucky for the past 5 years. No, I'm originally from Dublin, Ohio, and I was born in Michigan. So I've been in the Midwest like my whole life, basically. So if I have one, it's got to be from Kentucky.
Okay, Kentucky, we're gonna give you the credit. Okay, y'all. So introducing, drum roll, please. 2-time world gold medalist, 200 indoor American record holder, 300 indoor NCAA record holder, 200-meter outdoor NCAA record holder. Fresh off the Bowerman Rim, Miss Abby Steiner. I'm so glad you could join us today.
I'm live with you. This is so fun already. So.
Okay, so what do you remember about growing up in Dublin, Ohio?
I spent my first like 5 years of life in northern Michigan, and then we moved when I was starting kindergarten. So I feel like a lot of my early memories are from like elementary school and getting involved with my club soccer team, because I started playing like competitive soccer when I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. So I feel like my years were just like going to soccer practice with those girls and going to school, and like that was it, and just kind of having fun. Like I remember in Dublin, like a lot of my friends live close. We would always be going on like bike rides in the summer, and our little like downtown area was a walkable distance. So me and my sister would go like walk. So, I mean, just a lot of like fun childhood memories really from there.
Okay, and then just like you said, you started soccer. So is that the only sport? It was only soccer and track. That was it.
So I tried lacrosse. I did basketball. Okay. I was starting point guard for my middle school team.
Hold on.
And then I did like one lesson of figure skating because my dad played hockey. And so like obviously I looked up to him and like wanted to try it. And I don't know if there was like an option for girls to play hockey where I was from. I think I quit after one lesson, and then from there it was just soccer. But in middle school it was soccer, basketball, and track.
Wow. Okay, so out of all the sports you tried, which one was the most challenging? It could be track.
Figure skating. Figure skating was, yeah, I did like one lesson, and you had to do like backward circles on the ice, and literally I couldn't do it. And so they were like, okay, well, we're gonna move you to like the lower level, and I was like, nah, that's it. I'm not at the bottom like that.
That's crazy. Not the backwards on the first day.
What did you say?
I said not backwards on the first day.
First day too. I was like, I didn't know how to do that. But I mean, kids in my class were like, I mean, they were so good at it. So I was just defeated, honestly.
Sheesh. Okay, so your first meet was in 8th grade. So what events did you do?
I just did the 100, and I think I did the 400 in middle school. Maybe. I know it was for sure the 100. I didn't run a 200 until freshman year indoor season.
Oh.
But I did the 100, and I think we did the 4x1. I might have ran a 400. Like my first memory of running the 400 was I had no idea how to do it. So I was like asking people how you run it. And they were like, just sprint as much of it as you can. And so that was my approach. The very first time I ever did it, I was laid out. Like the official was like trying to help me off the track, and I was not moving. So if that was 8th grade or freshman year, but it was in my early days for sure.
Sheesh. Okay, so but you've always been a sprinter. Like you kind of came into what you're in now. So that's good.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
tried sprinting just because like that was what I noticed on the soccer field was like my, acceleration and speed. So also did conditioning for soccer. That was like miles and stuff, and I was not good. So I knew that was not going to be my path. Yeah.
And so you've never tried a field event or nothing?
No, just 1, 2, 4. That's it. I think I haven't ran an open 4 since freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So I my PR in that right now is like a 57 too. So yeah, might have to update that.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Okay, so high school state record holder in the 60, 100, and the 200, all state soccer. Was it difficult finding a university as a dual athlete?
It was a little bit. I would say the hardest part was because for soccer, the recruiting is so early. So basically, if you're going to a top program, your recruiting is wrapped up by sophomore year at the latest. Like I was committed for soccer going into my sophomore year of high school. But then of course track, like they wait to see how your body develops, which makes sense. So a lot of people do like all their visits senior year. So it was a little bit tricky just because when I had just started running track, so my first season of indoor, like while I was going through the recruiting process with soccer, I loved track so much in 8th grade that I knew I wanted to try both. So I think like thankfully based off of my times as a freshman, like some of the coaches were willing to like take a chance on that. But it was a little bit difficult, and you have to like go through the schools and see how they're going to balance it and see how that fits for you. So I think the hardest part was just that timeline because they didn't really match up at all.
So your bread and butter was at kind of with soccer?
Yeah, that's what I started getting looks, and then once I started running track, I was like, but wait, like I ran this, what do you guys think about this? So I kind of knew I always wanted to do both, but yeah, I was like recruited heavily for soccer, and then of course it was just picking which schools were going to be willing to do both.
Okay, and then you chose Kentucky. So when did that happen? Was it earlier or kind of later?
Yeah, it was I think I verbally committed like September going into my sophomore year of high school. Okay. So I don't remember the year, but I pretty much knew like for majority of my high school career I was gonna go there. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so freshman season you started 19 games at Kentucky, scored 2 goals, SEC freshman in the 60. So at what moment did you realize like you couldn't really manage both?
Yeah, I think honestly, like I had a kind of tough transition into college just because like between my major and then you're like just immediately put into 20-hour practice weeks. Like it was just a lot balancing classes and school and all of that. And so I like sitting there and I was like, because my like goal had always been to go to physical therapy school. And I was like, well, the classes I have to take, like I need at least, one semester where I can like be present and not missing all these classes. And just like, playing soccer takes a toll on your body. Like I think I was running like 10 miles a game because we used to track it, like wear these sports bras and they could track like how far you were running and stuff like that. So just like the toll on my body, along with just wanting to like have a semester at college where I wasn't traveling all the time, where some of the that led into that.
That makes so much sense. 10 miles a game?
Believe it or not, you are like literally never you're always moving. You're either sprinting or jogging. So there's like literally no breaks besides halftime and then when the game is done.
So like in your early, like when you first kind of let it go, was there ever a moment where you were like, you know what, actually I kind of want to go back?
Honestly, there was never a moment where I wanted to go back. One of my favorite parts of soccer where I was always like a wing player. I was always making these like long runs up and down and people were playing me through balls. I was like thinking about it and I'm like, my favorite part of soccer is the running that I'm doing. So it makes sense that my sport should be running. I miss like soccer really is a beautiful game. Like I watched the World Cup and I don't know, like practicing it and all of that. It is a lot of fun. And the only part like sometimes I miss is like track practices are no joke. Like you cannot slack off and there is really not a fun way to get in shape to be fast. So like soccer, we would like mix it up. We'd play like soccer, tennis, and you'd have all of these different games and stuff you're playing. But there was never where I like really sat down and was like, did I make the right decision? I always just kind of knew in my heart, like, this is what I'm picking, and I'm going to commit to that.
Love that. Love that. That's interesting that soccer does different stuff, though.
I know. Yeah. I remember, like, playing, like, as kids, you play, like, soccer, tennis, and we would have, like, juggling wars, like, with a soccer ball. You would see, like, which partners would, like, get the highest. Like, it was fun. Like, there's just a lot of fun, different ways to work on technique.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to move on to your sophomore season. Your first SEC title in the 200-meter indoors, NCAA All-American in the 62 and the 4x4. So I got to ask you, as a dominant sprinter, have you or do you ever complain about running the 4x4? Keep it real. Keep it real.
No, honestly, I love the 4x4, and I'm not just saying that, but I will say, freshman year, I used to be terrified to run the 4x4 because, shout out to Chloe Abbott, but Chloe was like our leader on that relay, and Chloe took that so seriously, which was neat. I mean, that's needed on the
yeah.
Scared because I'm like, I don't want to let my teammates down. Like, Chloe's counting on me. Like, I gotta get this baton around the track. So I think I was more nervous, and so I was comfortable, like, stepping into my role and confident in my running abilities. But honestly, I mean, it's less than a minute of your life. Like, it's gonna hurt for like 10 minutes, so I don't really mind it. And also, like, especially being a 200 runner, like, that's one of the things. There is nothing that you can really replicate like that in practice that's going to get me in shape on the end of those runs. So once you think about it, like, it's really a way for me to get in shape for that too, then you kind of, I feel like I started to embrace it a little bit more.
Wow. I wish I could have.
It took me a little bit, but, you know, it's a good to have. It really does help you.
So, like, on 4x4, what leg do you prefer? Do you like to already have the lead, or you like to fight for the lead?
I like to fight for the lead a little bit. I think it's like chasing people down has always been fun to me, but I ran a lot of third leg this year. I do not like leading off. I did that a couple of times, but, like, I'm just not, you know, as comfortable with that because you're coming out of the blocks, and I haven't ran open 4 in so long. So I really honestly like any of those, you know, 2, 3, 4 legs. But I think this year I pretty much stayed with 3 once we kind of locked that in. So I enjoyed that.
Yes. Okay. So 2021 indoor NCAA champion, you tied for the second fastest 200 in American history, undefeated in the 200, which is crazy because it said you PR'd at every meet.
Yeah.
Where was your mind during this winning season?
Yeah. Did you say this year? Sorry, I missed the
2021. So your junior year. Yeah.
Well, because 2020 was COVID. So right. I was having this great indoor season, and then, you know, everything kind of got crazy with the pandemic, and obviously everyone's season was shut down. So I don't know. I feel like once that got shut down, like, I was just trying to do workouts at home. I was, like, doing workouts with my mom, like, trying to stay in shape. And I'm the type of person that you know, once I get a little bit of time off, I get that itch to compete, like, heavily. Yeah. Like, I'm always ready. Once I've had enough time, I'm very ready to get back to it. So I feel like just, you know, working on all that little stuff during the pandemic, and then just getting comfortable with, like, another fall training under my belt fully. I was just kind of ready to, since all of that was taken away so soon, like, I was like, I really have to make the most of every opportunity I have, because 21, I think COVID protocols were still pretty strict. Yeah. I fully thought I had it before NCAA indoors, like, and if you had a test, like, you couldn't go, and, like, you know, like, there was a quarantine period and all that stuff. So I was like, really, every week by week, you don't know if you're going to get contact traced or anything like that. So I was like, I have to capitalize on whatever opportunity I get. So I feel like that kind of helped me just make the most of every opportunity, regardless of what meet it was at.
Yes. So I want to get into a little bit of adversity, because one outdoor season you did have an Achilles tendonitis injury, and then, like, in high school you had a kind of more serious injury that was an ACL tear. So, like, what keeps you motivated through adversity?
Yeah. I think, like, that ACL tear was definitely the hardest one. I always thought before that happened to me, you always think, like, oh, I'm athletic enough, like, that's not going to happen to me. And then when you're forced with, like, this whole different season than you thought. But I think that, like, one thing that I do well with adversity is, you, like, as cliche as it sounds, taking it day by day. Like, with the whole ACL recovery, like, my main goal was, I want to make it back to indoor season, but it's like, okay, now we have to take a step back. What are we going to do every single day to get to that point? So I think for me, like those small goals are like so crucial. Like, what am I going to do today versus like stepping back and looking at, oh my gosh, I have a 9-month recovery, you know? So, you know, like day by day, setting those small goals for myself is one thing that really keeps you grounded and present.
For sure. And what are some things that you did try to do every day? Like, just give us an example of what you mean.
Like with ACL stuff, if you've been through it, you know, but like the biggest thing that you lose is like hyperextension of your knee. Like that, it takes forever to come back, and mine still isn't fully back. But even something as small as like, okay, I'm gonna do like you do like these hanging, you know, like resting your leg and let your knee just hang. Even if I had to go around, like I'm gonna do that for 15 minutes a day, and you know, check. I'm gonna do my rehab exercises 2 times a day. Check, and then you know, the people that you're surrounded with are in charge of progressing you, but it's my job to do those things every day. So I think just little stuff like that, just making sure you're listening to those around you and making sure you're doing it.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to get into this season. Now, I do have to read some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? 2022, indoor broke the 40-year-old 300-meter NCAA record, American record in the 200. You snatched it. Back-to-back 200-meter champion, runner-up at NCAA 60. What would you call that? The beginning of 2022 indoor season. Like, what would you title it?
Comeback season.
Yeah. Why?
Because I obviously have had Achilles injury, and which that was just a really difficult one because with tendonitis, it's so painful, but like nothing is like I'm still able to like walk and stuff. Nothing's torn. It's like you feel like you can go, but you just can't. So like that whole process was really difficult because I would try to go, it would flare up. You're just like up and down like the whole season. And tried to come back for regionals after taking like 6 to 8 weeks off and ran 23.5 and cried my eyes out afterwards. And I was like, okay, we're not going to do that again. So, you know, taking all of that, giving myself time to reset, I was like, I'm going to come back from this. Like, this is not going to be the last, this is going to be the last time I feel like that from a race. So I think like taking all of that adversity and then coming back in my first race with that 300, I was like, okay, I'm back. Yeah.
Love it. So we're going to move on to the 2022 outdoor season. NCAA record for the 200 outdoor title. You ran 48.92 split, winning the 4x4. NCAA bronze in the 100. U.S. champion in the 200. 2-time world gold medalist. And fresh off the Bowerman win. So Trey was in here. I don't know if Trey's still in here. But as he would say, were you able to live in your wins this season?
I think once it was all done, I was able to take a moment because, like, the thing about season, and it's like, okay, you have a great NCAAs. Okay, 2 weeks later, it's USAs. Then you have USAs. But then, okay, 4 weeks later, it's Worlds. So there's so much just back to back to back. But I think that once it was all said and done, you give yourself a little bit of space. And then being at the whole Bowerman ceremony where they were just honoring everyone who was there in their seasons, they had the little videos ready to go. So I think, like, being there was a really special way to kind of celebrate everyone's season.
Yes, and how was the? Because the online thing was a little trash. We couldn't really see.
I saw a little bit of the replay. I'm not gonna say anything, but the actual ceremony was wonderful. It was great, like just getting to hang out with everyone who was there and like your fellow competitors and. You know, everyone who was at that convention was just there to support you. So it was just really special. My parents were able to come and, you know, just being able to hug them afterwards, hug Coach Hall. It was just, I mean, special.
Yeah, no, it looked like it was beautiful. Like, I love how they have you walking in. So are you excited to be, now you're in the Bowerman family, so you get to come back for all, whatever year you want. Like,
I'm so excited. I'm excited to like hand it off next year, and I'm going to be following closely. So I'm excited to see how this season plays out for everyone.
Yes, love that. So first meet is your first indoor meet, Milrose? No, you got a little bit before that.
I think I might run at the Kentucky meet. Might do a little 4x4 with our pro. It's like I think going to be like a mixed 4x4. Because our pro group here is me, Christian, Nate, and Dwight. So, you know, indoor is more just about having fun, getting in shape for outdoor. So, we might try something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that would be my first one just for training. But of course, like Milrose is the big one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. So have you ran at the Army before?
I did in high school, for like New Balance indoor, but I haven't been back since I think my junior year of high school. I don't think I did it senior year for some reason. I did, I can't remember, but it's been a while. But I have ran there before. Yeah.
Okay, bad. Because I just started working
Yeah.
there. I'm just hearing.
Congrats.
I'm hearing all this. Thank you. Thank you. You see that little.
Yeah, I love it. It looks good.
But I've been hearing about like the atmosphere and stuff. So like I'm OD hype for like Milrose. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I hear it's lit.
Milrose, like the atmosphere is just crazy already, and at the Army, yeah, I've heard it's gonna be awesome. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. So can we call that meet like? Can we call it the American record attempt or not for real?
We can call it that. We'll see. I mean, that's the goal. That's the goal. We're close to it, so I'm gonna go out there and do my best. But I'm just trying to kind of embrace this year. My first year as a pro is gonna be a lot of differences, but I'm definitely excited. I was the one that wanted to run a 300 again after last year, and last year was my first time ever running it, so I feel like maybe with some experience, I'm gonna push it a little bit more. So
yeah. So let's get off the track a little bit. So do you have any career goals off the track?
My goal all through college was to become a physical therapist. After going through that ACL tear, a lot of physical therapists were former athletes, which like made such a difference in my recovery process. Just being able to talk to people who are at an elite level who went through that injury, who kind of get it. That was a way that I wanted to give back. So I majored in exercise science, applied for PT school before I ended up going pro. So we're gonna run as long as we can, but afterwards, yeah, I would love to get back into it.
So I wanted to ask, so do you have any, like, what about fashion? Like, any more fashion shows? I know you did the Puma one.
That was so fun. I'm just, like, enjoying what Puma has to offer, for sure. That was a great experience, though. It was definitely a little out of my comfort zone, but I had a wonderful time, so I would do it again, for sure. Yeah.
Give us your favorite moment from the fashion show, because that was lit.
Ooh. Oh my God, there were so many good ones. I feel like watching Usain walk was one of the best ones. Like the whole production, and like you're seeing model, like I don't know, you're just surrounded by like a lot of really cool models. Like Winnie was there, and I was like, oh my God, like it's crazy seeing them in person. So the whole experience was fun. And then I was there for a few days, so I got to like explore New York just kind of on my own. Never been able to do that because I've always been there to compete. So just kind of getting to walk around. It's much different than Lexington. But yeah, it was just overall a great experience.
Yeah. So how did you like calm? Because I know you were nervous to walk because like you never done it before. So how did you like kind of calm those nerves?
I was like, my job is not to be a runway model. It is to run fast. So regardless of what happens, it is not my job to have but it helped, like, I was in sneakers and I had a big hat, so I was like, no one can really even tell it's me.
Love it. Okay, we're going to get, like, 2 questions from the question box real quick. Ooh. We're going to do this one. From MJPTV, what was the key to you sustaining your performances throughout a long season?
That's a good one. I think, like, kind of what I touched on going into my junior year after COVID, taking and knowing that like every opportunity to run is a gift. It's very easy to get into a slump, I feel like, but so much can change, whether it's a pandemic or even an injury. Like you really never know what life is going to throw at you and when you're going to get your next moment. So I think like being present was the biggest thing, and taking those opportunities as I got them, not really like looking ahead. I think that looking ahead can be a little bit daunting when you have indoor, outdoor, and worlds, but instead just focusing on my race and being intentional about what I need to do to execute that is something that I think helped keep me grounded.
Love that, y'all. College athletes, get these gyms because you're going to be out there next year. Ooh, okay, this is a good one. Who's inspiring you right now? Any character or real person?
Ooh.
That's a good one. The running statistician, my bad.
Who's inspiring me right now? Running? Mm. That is a really good one. You know, honestly, I think that like transitioning from like a collegiate training environment to my professional training environment, my professional guys that I'm training with are like very inspiring. Christian, Nate, Dwight, they always come ready to work. They always come with a good attitude. They're there to provide encouragement and tips and tricks. So getting to train with people who have that experience and knowledge, feel like I've learned a lot just kind of about the sport and just how to approach training. So I would say like every day they're the ones that make practice a good time for me.
Yes, I love that. Okay, one more. Ooh, we're gonna just finish off with this one. Best track tip that no one knows.
You know, it's funny because I still like, even after all this, still sometimes feel like I'm a baby in the sport. Like we had our first like block session the other day and I was like, I feel like I still have so much to learn. Best track tip that no one knows. Okay, I don't know if this is one that no one knows, but I think that one thing that helps me during my long workouts, leg swings in between reps for some reason kills my it gets rid of my lactic. So not fully, but it helps a little bit for the next rep. So I feel like that's my best advice. Get somewhere, walk, and do some leg swings because I swear that like saves me during workouts.
All right,
Yeah.
Look.
Oh, there you go.
Swing it. Get your leg swings in. Okay, and then Caitlin from Kentucky asked a question about your hairstyles. And I like this. She's just asking, like, talk about your styles and what inspired you to change your hair color throughout the years.
Yeah, like hair color or hairstyle?
I think hair color.
Okay.
Yeah, she said hair color.
I actually like had really, really dark hair a few years ago, and that was not on purpose. I did not mean to dye my hair like that dark. So like literally my changing colors have been me trying to get back to like a blonde natural color. But I think like as far as styles though, like I've learned a lot, you know, just with like braids and buns and ponytails and all of that, and just whatever is gonna make me feel confident that day. I feel like when I fully believe like look good, run good. So when I feel like I'm gonna perform my best.
Yes. Okay, so I always have to end my interviews with like some advice or like just help somebody get to where you are, like something to help somebody get to the position that you're in.
I think like I kind of touched on it in my Bowerman speech when I said nothing great is ever done by yourself. But I think like the best piece of advice I could, and you know what's funny is like I'm thinking about myself as a freshman, and Coach Hall just actually showed me a video of me doing starts as a freshman, and you would never watch that and think that I would be in the position that I am now. But I think one of my biggest things, and Coach Hall can definitely attest to this, is just like asking questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions to the people around you, to your teammates, to your coaches. Like that's what they're there for. They know the most about the sport. They're there to help you. So don't be afraid. Like there are no silly questions about track. I still ask so many questions about what I'm doing, but I think it's the best way to learn about the sport and get better.
Yes, I love that. So is there anything you want to leave us with or anything new you have coming up or anything like that?
I don't think so. I'm excited for Milrose. Excited to see you there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, that is it. I appreciate you so much, Abby, for, first of all, first time. Y'all, drop some fire emojis real quick. It's our first time ever going live. And she picked us.
This was so fun. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll go live again, but I had a great time. And thank you so much for asking me to do this. It was awesome.
Yes, well, I will talk to you soon, girl. Thank you so much. Enjoy your night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.